stupid.
To check our privilege now, okay, we are all white and Americans. Privilege checked, okay.
Okay. A tentative deal has been struck in the SAG-AFTRA voice actor strike that began some 11 months ago. Voice actors will be able to return to work with some further protections for their voice, more knowledge about what the roles they'll be taking entail, and additional bonuses for sessions worked. They did not, however, get the residuals that formed one of the core tenets of the strike.
Dude, the not getting the residuals, I think, is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, companies were basically like, okay, we'll treat you like you're basic human beings now.
Yeah, and I mean, what they did get and versus what the video game companies didn't get, I think that they were able to stop the creep and encroachment of video game companies further on voice actors, but I don't think that they got all of the protections that they deserve.
No.
And I don't think, and I think that the fact that residuals are not guaranteed at a certain point, that's left up to individual contracts, and that's one of the most difficult negotiating points that you can have as a voice actor or someone signing onto a project, that is really dismaying, because it's something that's very, very normal inside of the movie and commercial and television industry. Hollywood is very much normalized to that sort of thing, and that's where you see a lot of opportunities. Somebody moves out to LA, they can live off of 2 or 3 commercials for a year or two, and so I think that voice actors, especially ones that are a part of projects that do very, very well, should absolutely be brought in on the residuals.
Especially when it's something that the developer might not even expect to do very well, and then it takes off. Like, how fair is that for them to then be making so much profit, and the people behind the characters and the voices get...
Well, and not even when a project does really well, but the fact that they can put out like a remastered version using the same voice lines, and a voice actor sees absolutely nothing from that to me is just absolutely the worst.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Because with regular acting, if they make, back when they had like VHS or originally DVD, and then they upscale it for Blu-ray, do actors get residuals from that?
Yeah.
Generally,
voice actors absolutely should as well.
Yeah, and
except it's more like a privilege to be able to voice act for a game. So you should just be happy with what you have.
In fact, I'm pretty sure, if I remember this correctly, when we had our talk with David Hayter, way back yonder, he was the writer for X1 and X2, and he said, whenever that comes on TV and you watch it, he gets like a fraction of a penny or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not a lot. Again,
fraction of a penny.
But
Hollywood does it based on percentages of overall distribution. But what voice actors specifically were fighting for was at a specific point, because I think enough people that we've talked to and that we've seen interviewed as a part of this story have said, like, look, we understand that it takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of money to be able to make a game. The thing is, though, is that we want to be cut in on residuals after a game has attained a certain level of success. There's a minimum cap that it has to reach. And I think that their minimum cap that they were requesting, while I don't have a specific figure, was pretty generous in terms of...
I think it was 2 million units moved.
That
was a lot.
Dude, that's a lot of... And that's not $2 million made. That's 2 million units moved.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, and weren't they just wanting to just be paid whatever their fee was, again, as their bonus or something? It's not even like they were asking for percentages.
Yeah, I think that may have been one of the bargaining points that was tossed about, but I think at that point, when a game has achieved that level of success, you should be compensating the people who helped make it such a success. And people don't understand why there's such kind of turnover in terms of or inconsistencies in voice staff and voice actors from maybe one series title to the next. And I think that that's something that video game companies used to value a lot more than they do now, and they've realized, well, fuck it doesn't really matter, because people still end up buying the game. That's in the end the real tragedy here, is that I kind of think that like gamers in general didn't take up this cause enough to be able to make video game companies feel like they had to come more to the table, or else their bottom line would suffer.
Well, and one of the downsides of it too is I think the only game that we saw released that was affected by it was the prequel to Life is Strange.
That's the only one that went viral out there.
Well, it's the only one that I think has actually been released. There's still a bunch of other projects that were affected by it, but are still in development. So we wouldn't have seen the effects of it. You know, when the writers went on strike all those years ago, you know, there were shows that ended.
Cut off mid-season.
Yeah, and then never came back because of it. You know, there was like actual tangible evidence that you could see yourself. But with this strike, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of media coverage about it. Nothing was being affected. We didn't really lose out on anything yet. So the only people that were affected by this strike, like really affected by this strike, was the voice actors themselves.
The people who were not working.
Yeah, and because not everyone, you know, was on strike, because I mean, obviously they still got, you know, a voice actress to do Chloe in the prequel. I don't know. It sucks.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a win for the AAA studios.
I know, because like,
and for all of the bullshit, you know, business and tactics that they represent. Like, it's definitely a solid win for them.
Yeah, the more I think about the stuff that they gave up, it was just like bullshit trash stuff that they, you know, had came up with. So, oh guys, we can give this up. So it's like, you know, we're making concessions too, is what it felt like.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, you know, you've got to have a lot of patience if you're trying to really wait something like that out. And I first of all, I don't think that there was enough noise made, both on the part of gamers and the part of voice actors and SAG-AFTRA members.
I was going to say, because I think a lot of it lies is with other SAG-AFTRA members, not just the voice actors themselves, but if other members, like actual actors, would have been in on this too, at least giving it more noise, more credence, talking about it more, it would have went further.
How many award shows went down in that 11 months? How many different Hollywood award shows where they gave out awards for animated movies and for you know, movies that have prominent voice actors in them or voice roles for them? How many opportunities did someone have to speak on this issue and they just didn't?
Nope.
You know what I mean?
A public setting is no place to voice a protest. So.
Oh yeah, of course not.
If they had taken a knee on stage, it would have gotten a bigger reaction.
You know,
it's just not the time and place. Okay.
You know, here's maybe what should have happened. Maybe there should have been, you know, like an animated movie that really took aim at Donald Trump, so he felt the need to respond to it, and then everyone would have known about this issue. There wouldn't have been a single person not talking about this issue. That's what you got to do. And to be honest, I think that the responsibility is really, you got to lay that at the feet of Seth Rogen. I mean, it's all Seth Rogen's fault.
Damn it, Seth.
I mean, he made Sausage Party. I mean, he could have made a follow-up film that was just, I don't know, an hour and a half of one of the Sausage Party characters sodomizing Donald Trump with like a cavalcade of voice actors making an appearance, just like walk-ons, like, ha-ha, that's funny, ha, and then they walk off, and then
Pee Wee Herman's attending.
Whatever. Fucking Paul Rubens isn't working very much. Like,
no, he's not.
I don't know if he's taken any voice roles, but yeah, let's throw a bone to Paul Rubens. But yeah, like if they had done that, then there would have been no way that this issue could have gone ignored.
Nate, you make a good point. Fuck you, Seth Rogen.
It is Seth Rogen's fault.
I like it. Bandai Namco have teamed up with Gamblit Gaming to adapt Pac-Man into a casino floor game. The game is played with 2 to 4 players with the CPU